Welcome to the 2023 Boys High School Lacrosse Rules and Officiating video presented by USA Lacrosse. This video was created to prepare and educate the lacrosse community for the upcoming lacrosse season and is for educational purposes. To set the agenda for this presentation, we will cover several important aspects of the game. We will also discuss the committee's points of emphasis. Points of emphasis. The NFHS and USA Lacrosse Boys Lacrosse Rules Committees have addressed the following items as points of emphasis for the 2023 season. The NFHS and USA Lacrosse advocate for continued commitment by all participants, players, fans, spectators, and others, to respect the game and each other. This respect and decorum should be demonstrated on the field and off the field at all times. Participants are asked to monitor and maintain sportsmanship while encouraging both teams involved in the contest. Participants are reminded that comments directed towards coaches, players, and officials are expected to be positive in nature. Additionally, the committees voted to continue a point of emphasis on player safety rules, specifically wearing the helmet securely. A properly fitted helmet is essential for the safety of the player. This includes using the proper size helmet and ensuring that a 4-point chin strap is worn and safely secured as designed by the manufacturer. If a helmet can be removed without unbuckling the chin strap, it is not properly fitted and secured and should be checked by a parent, coach, or athletic trainer. The NFHS and USA Lacrosse have aligned with other sports to standardize the use of eye shade. Eye shade, grease or non-glare strips or stickers, shall be a solid stroke and may not include words, numbers, logos, or other symbols. This rule should be enforced by officials before the game begins by reminding coaches that a player may be sent off if it is noticed during the game. Building upon the rule change from last year, the rules committees want to emphasize the proper procedures for face-offs. Upon the whistle starting play, each player must attempt to play the ball first. A player may clamp the ball with the back of the stick, but it must be moved, raked, or directed immediately. A player may not lie on the ball or trap it with his cross longer than is necessary to control the ball and pick it up with one continuous motion. Under a running clock situation in the second half, when a penalty expires during a face-off period, the player may not re-enter the game until the face-off is completed. This should be communicated to the table crew and the offending player before the next face-off to avoid confusion. The NFHS and USA Lacrosse have partnered to provide the most up-to-date mechanics for officials. Specifically, the NFHS Boys Lacrosse Committee has adopted the USA Lacrosse 2-person and 3-person mechanics manuals. These manuals allow officials, coaches, players, and spectators to see consistency in high school officiating across the country. To access this free resource, go to the USA Lacrosse website. Major rule changes for 2023. The following section discusses the major rule changes and clarifications for the 2023 season. Rule 1-2-1 Field Markings. Failure to have a clearly marked center line that runs the entire width of the field, a continuous sideline, or end lines shall be penalized as illegal procedure and assessed against the home team prior to the start of the game. Possession will be awarded to the visiting team. Logos running through the end zone of many football fields are often placed on the end line for lacrosse. The end line for lacrosse is just as important as the midline. The penalty for not having a solid end line or sideline should also be illegal procedure against the home team if the situation cannot be fixed prior to the start of the game. This violation should be communicated to the local assigning authority so it may be corrected prior to any future games. Rule 1-2-7 and 1-2-8 Table and coaches areas. Where physically possible, the scorer's table should be placed at least 6 yards from the sideline at the center line. 2 lines shall be drawn on either side of the center line, 5 yards from the center line and extending past the scorer's table. The area bounded by the sideline, the 2 lines perpendicular to the sideline, and the scorer's table shall be referred to as the table area. Only players serving penalty time, players ready to substitute on the fly, the chief bench official, and official scorers and timers are allowed in the table area. The coaches' area shall be located on either side of the table area. Each coaches' area shall extend from the table and parallel to the sideline. It shall be bounded by the sideline, the table area, a dotted line 6 yards from and parallel to the sideline, and a dotted line extending from the sideline. parallel to and 20 yards from the table area. This rule change standardizes the box with other rule codes including NFHS girls lacrosse and NCAA men's lacrosse. This change increases the amount of control an official has while substitutes are entering and exiting the field. Rule 1-7-1, Cross Construction. Article 4. The pocket or net shall be completely attached to the head and the sidewalls, having no holes or gaps larger than 1.68 inches in diameter. There has been an increased use of a stringing technique which allows for trapping the ball in such a manner where the stick will pass the stick check, but when force is applied, the mesh stretches and entraps the ball. Rule 1-8, Cross Prohibitions. No player shall use a cross that does not meet the specifications of Sections 6 and 7. The cross shall not have protrusions or sharp edges. Recent innovations by stick manufacturers could hook or catch on a player's helmet or face mask, thereby potentially causing injury. Rule 1-9-1G, Player Equipment, Shoes. Shoes shall be worn which meet the specifications of 1-9-1. Metal spikes are not permitted. Modern design has standardized the shoe used for outdoor field sports, and this section is no longer needed in the detail currently in use. Rule 4-3-1, Facing off at the beginning of a period. Play shall be started at the beginning of each period and after each goal by facing the ball at center. Exceptions: player advantage or flag down creating a player advantage. Player or team commits a foul before any face-off. Player at any face-off delays resumption of play. And the player moves the cross or body after set is said, gaining an advantage. Restarting the game has been unclear due to the way the rule was written. This rewrite simplifies the rule direction and places clarifications back in the situations. Rule 4-24-1 and 4-24-8, Officials' Timeouts. An official may suspend play at their discretion. If a player loses any of their mandatory personal equipment in a scrimmage area, or a player is apparently injured, play shall be suspended immediately. A goalkeeper, when outside the crease, is treated like a field player. Play shall be suspended immediately if the goalkeeper's stick or any other mandatory goalkeeper's equipment becomes broken in the crease. The previous rules did not define what happens when a goalkeeper is injured when away from his crease and outside the scrimmage area. Should a goalkeeper be outside of the crease and break his stick, get injured, or any of the other situations that may occur to a field player, play will continue as it would for any field player. Rule 6-10-2, Stalling. Article 2. The stall warning remains in effect until a goal is scored, a shot is taken above the goal line extended and hits the goal pipes, goalkeeper, or his equipment, the defensive team gains possession of the ball, or the period ends resulting in a face-off. After the team has been warned, stalling shall be called if the ball leaves the goal area in any manner other than as a result of a shot or a touch by the defending team. This rule clarifies that a valid shot shall meet the criteria for a stall warning to remain in effect. If the offensive team starts outside of the offensive area, they shall be given a get it in, keep it in warning and have 10 seconds to advance the ball into the offensive area. Rule 7-2H, Penalty Time. During running penalty time will start with the whistle resuming play after the penalty is administered. If there is time remaining on a non-releasable penalty when a goal is scored, the earliest the penalty will release is when the ensuing face-off has been completed. This rule solves an administrative challenge for officials to monitor penalty time expirations and player re-entry while conducting a face-off. USA Lacrosse and the NFHS would like to thank you for watching the 2023 Boys High School Rules Interpretation. For more information about the rules, interpretations, memos, or more resources, visit the USA Lacrosse website.